steadily reducing the sulfur and aromatic content in petrol and diesel fuels. What is noise pollution? Undesirable high level of sound for hearing is called noise pollution. So what is biochemical oxygen demand? It is the amount of oxygen required for oxidizing all organic matter present in 1 liter of water by the aerobic microbes. Hello everyone, welcome back to session 2 of this chapter called Environmental Issues. Myself B. Shobharani from the Department of Biology, Vidyashram Pre-University College, the Temple of Excellence. What did we study in the last session? We studied about air pollution and what are the causes for air pollution and how we can control air pollution. I think we have come out with two very important methods to control air pollution by use of electrostatic precipitators in thermal plants and scrubbers, right? So what are we going to discuss? And also we discuss about a case study of Delhi, where we know that Delhi is the most polluted city and the best way to use CNG, that is compressed natural gas, which is having a lot of advantages than using the petrol and diesel. Now, what are the let us understand the remaining concepts in this session, that is about the other parallel steps taken in Delhi. So, other than using CNG, what are the other very important methods that are taken in Delhi to reduce air pollution? Here you can see the old vehicle. So, this old vehicle indicates that you phasing out old vehicles. That is, the Delhi government has banned using the old vehicles. That is, they have banned the plying of the old vehicles on the road because they are the old, they are not modified versions of engine. So maybe it will cause more of pollution. So that is the reason why the phasing out of old vehicle is advised and is taken care. Then use of unleaded petrol. As I said, leaded petrol causes more air pollution. So when we go to a petrol bunk, make sure that we use unleaded petrol or even unleaded diesel. So use of unleaded petrol. Then use of low sulfur petrol and diesel. So use of petrol and diesel which is having low sulfur content. Then use of catalytic converters. I said the best method is because it is going to reduce the pollution of the gases. So use of catalytic converter in the vehicle. So in the vehicles, if you use this catalytic converter, then application of strict pollution level norms for vehicle, very, very important. So the very strict pollution control norms should be introduced. That is the best way to control this pollution. So what are the other ways other than using compressed natural gas? What are the other methods? Phasing out of old vehicles, then use of unleaded petrol, use of low sulfur petrol and diesel, use of catalytic converter in vehicles, then application of strict pollution level norms for vehicles. Then new auto fuel policy to cut down vehicular pollution. So here you can see that unleaded petrol, use of unleaded petrol. So steadily reducing the sulfur and aromatic content in petrol and diesel fuels. So what is the other method? Steadily reducing the sulfur and aromatic content in petrol and diesel fuels. Then Euro 2 norms. What are the Euro 2 norms? Sulfur reduced to 350 ppm parts per minute in diesel and sulfur reduced to 150 ppm in petrol. So sulfur reduced to 350 ppm in diesel and sulfur reduced to 150 ppm in petrol. Then aromatic hydrocarbons to be reduced to 42%. These are all the Euro 2 norms. Sulfur reduced to 350 ppm in diesel, sulfur reduced to 150 ppm in petrol, aromatic hydrocarbons to be reduced to 42%. Then upgradation of vehicle engines, very, very, as I said, why the old engines, why the plying of old vehicles is phased out? Because old engines will not be upgraded and it will cause more of air pollution. So upgradation of vehicle engines. Then, due to above steps taken by Delhi government, there is a substantial fall in carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide level between 1997 and 2005. To some extent, totally we are not able to control air pollution in Delhi, but to some extent, by implementing all these Euro 2 norms, by use of CNG, phasing out of old vehicles, using of unleaded petrol, all these are the measures which are taken by the Delhi government to avoid air pollution or to control air pollution, right? So steadily reducing the sulfur and aromatic content in petrol and diesel fuels. So what are the Euro 2 norms? Sulfur reduced to 350 ppm in diesel, sulfur reduced to 150 ppm in petrol, aromatic hydrocarbons can be reduced to 42%, upgradation of vehicle engines. Due to above steps taken by the Delhi government, there is a substantial fall in carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide, which are the main gases for air pollution between 1997 and 2005. So this is all about the air pollution. Now let us move on to the next very important pollution called noise pollution. Here in this picture we can see we cannot tolerate the noise. So beyond 70 to 80 decibels of sound, I think definitely it is going to affect our health. So sounds are from various modes. It might be through vehicles or maybe the music system, or the sound is caused by, noise is caused by many forms. So what is noise pollution then? Undesirable high level of sound for hearing is called noise pollution. I think all of us know, if festivals come like Ganesha festival, or any other marriage or any other program, loudspeakers are kept, and the sound is almost like beyond limit. We cannot bear to hear such loud sound. So public mics will be there. So all that needs to be avoided. So noise, I said, is an undesirable. What is noise pollution? Undesirable high level of sound for hearing is called noise pollution. Now, what are the harmful effects of noise pollution? May it be air pollution, may it be soil pollution or air pollution, noise pollution or water pollution. Pollution is pollution. Definitely it will have some harmful effects on human beings. So what are the harmful effects of noise pollution? Like for example, even at home only, like if you keep the sound of TV channels of your radio to high volume, definitely it is going to affect and it causes irritation. So first and foremost is, it causes psychological and physiological disorder in humans. So what are the harmful effects of noise pollution? Psychological and physiological disorder in humans. So as I said, high sound level beyond 150 decibel, dB stands for decibel or more, may damage eardrums. So, the eardrums of the ear will be damaged if the high sound is for more than 150 decibels. Definitely it is going, and once the eardrum is damaged, that's the end of it. The person will not be able to hear. And not only that, we all know that the middle ear of the ear is a very, very important organ for balancing the body. Then noise causes sleeplessness. Obviously, if more sound is there, I think we don't feel like sleeping. So definitely it is going to affect sleep. Then it is going to increase heart rate. It is going to increase heart rate, and also it is going to alter the breathing pattern. See, all these are the after effects of this noise pollution. So what is noise pollution? Undesirable high level of sound for hearing is called noise pollution. So what are the harmful effects of noise pollution? Psychological and physiological disorder in humans. High sound level, that is of 150 decibel or more, may damage eardrums. Noise causes what? Sleeplessness, increased heart rate, and altered breathing pattern. So all these are the after effects of noise pollution. So when we know that this is going to affect our body, then why do we create sound or noise? So when we know that it is going to affect our body, then I think we need to reduce the volume of the sound. Then, as I said, stop. Here you can see sound. So what is prevention of? How do we prevent noise pollution then? Just like how? By using of scrubbers, electrostatic precipitators, using of CNG, unleaded petrol, all those were the measures taken to control air pollution. Then how are we going to prevent noise pollution, then what are the methods or the preventive measures that are taken to prevent noise pollution? So use of sound absorbent materials or by muffling noise in industries. I think all of us know, imagine people living near the industry, the sound, the machines running, the sounds of the machines running, all that is going to cause noise pollution, particularly for the residents who are residing near those particular areas. So in that case, so use of sound absorbent materials. So when the industry, they should use what? Sound absorbing materials, so that the sound will not go out. And also muffling noise in industry, so it should absorb. Then demarcation of horn-free zones around hospitals and schools. This is very, very important. So whenever there is a hospital or a school, people must make sure that they don't horn. Honking is, it's a very common phenomenon nowadays. Simply unnecessarily they start horning. And that is a reason why, that is a reason for noise pollution. So unwantedly we should not use the horn. So imagine, particularly like in areas where hospitals are set up, schools are there, definitely it is going to distract the patients and the studies of the children. So make sure that, the demarcation should be, I think you might have come across, you would have written like this. So this is the symbol which is usually put in hospitals and school zone, in hospital and school zone. So why particularly this symbol is put? Not to horn in that particular area when you are passing by, because those are the areas which is having hospitals and school zone. So those are the areas where horn should not be horned. So next, permissible sound levels of crackers. Yes, I think now we are all awaiting for the Deepavali festival. I think all would have been planned to burst crackers, and imagine the amount of, bursting of crackers will cause two very important pollution. One is air pollution, the other one is noise pollution. So when we know that it is causing noise pollution and air pollution, then what is the fun in burning the crackers? Then definitely not. We should avoid burning the crackers. So what joy you are going to get by causing harm to the environment? As we know that we are a part and parcel of this environment, so one day or the other we'll be affected. Who is the one who's going to be affected by the pollution? It is we only. We are causing the pollution and we are also suffering. So we should understand the importance of the environment. So avoid bursting crackers. Can't we celebrate Deepavali without crackers? Or you can light the lamp. So oil lamps, all that is one form of expressing the joy of a feast, but not just by bursting the crackers. The amount of effort that is taken to prepare that cracker itself is something which is very horrifying. You might have come across that. The way the chemicals that are used there is so very dangerous for the people who use, who handle those, who prepare those crackers. So why do we enjoy at the cost of the life of others? So it is better not to use crackers. So permissible sound levels of crackers, then timings after which loudspeakers cannot be played. This is very, very important. That timeout should be given. Like there is a specific time after which the loudspeakers should not be allowed. So that is also very, very, usually during night time. So when the whole city is silent and all are sleeping, big loudspeakers with loud songs and music, that is definitely going to affect the human beings. So what are the preventive methods of noise pollution? Use of sound absorbents materials or muffling of the noise in industries, then demarcation of horn-free zones around hospitals like this, then stop noise like permissible sound levels of crackers, timings after which loudspeakers cannot be played. So all these are the preventive measures which can be taken to avoid noise pollution. Then moving on to the next very, very important concept, that is water pollution. All of us now imagine, see here and here, how the water is polluted. All of us know water is the prime requirement for a human being. We use water for almost all purposes. Can we live without water? No, definitely not. So we know that the prime requirement for the life of a human being is water. And imagine if this water is polluted, imagine the amount of effect it is going to cause on the human body in terms of health. So what is water pollution and its control? Water pollution is again what? Undesirable content in water is called as water pollution. And the pollutants may be in any form. For example, like all of us know, sewage is a domestic waste containing large amount of waste organic matter, including human fecal matter and microbes. I think here you can see how the sewage water is let off in the water body. Sewage water is let off in the water bodies. You know, the water bodies may be in the form of freshwater bodies like ponds, lakes, rivers, or even marine water bodies like ocean or sea. So if these water bodies are polluted, definitely I think it is going to affect the aquatic animals. And also, like for example, if rivers are polluted, you know, the rivers are the source of drinking water for us. Ponds and lakes, if all these are polluted, definitely it is going to affect the mankind. So what is sewage? We all know that sewage is tons of sewage is produced every day by this huge population. So sewage is a domestic waste containing what? Large amount of waste organic matter, including human fecal matter and microbes. A mere 0.1% impurity makes domestic sewage unfit for human use. Sewage contains, dissolved salts like nitrates, phosphates, and other nutrients, and toxic metal ions and inorganic and organic compounds. So the amount of organic matter in waste matter is estimated by BOD, biological oxygen demand. So what is water pollution? Undesirable content in the water is called water pollution. So as we know, the very root cause for the water pollution is letting off the sewage into the water body and throwing off all the garbage, unwanted substance in the water body. See here how the water body is polluted. So obviously, can we expect the aquatic animals to survive? Definitely not. So the aquatic animals will be depleted with the water, with oxygen. And not only that, imagine if human beings consume such polluted water, the amount of diseases that is going to infect, diseases that is going to cause for the human beings, you cannot imagine, right? So water is very, very important. Like air is important, soil, all the very natural resources are very important for human being. We can't tell that this is important, that is not important. Everything is important, and it is our bound duty to conserve and preserve all these natural resources. Right. So sewage, as I said, is a domestic waste containing large amount of waste or organic matter, including human fecal matter and microbes. A mere 0.1% impurities make domestic sewage unfit for human use. Sewage contains dissolved salts like nitrates, phosphates, and other nutrients, and toxic metal ions and organic compound. The amount of organic matter in water is estimated by BOD. So as you all know, our present Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, has initiated so much of maintaining cleanliness and also the proper disposal of garbage. Imagine the importance that has been created, the awareness that has been created to us that we need to maintain a clean environment. Then what is biochemical oxygen demand? More the organic matter in the water content, more is the pollution. So biological oxygen demand, maybe this is a word which is also asked in the exam. Expand, what is BOD? What is BOD? Biochemical oxygen demand. It is the amount of oxygen required for oxidizing all organic matter present in 1 liter of water by the aerobic microbes. So what is biochemical oxygen demand? It is the amount of oxygen required for oxidizing all organic matter present in 1 liter of water by the aerobic microbes. So you can also call it as, BOD is used as a pollution indicator. More BOD, more is the pollution. Less BOD, less is the pollution. Just like how we use lichens. More lichens, lesser the pollution. No lichens, more the pollution. So in a similar way, BOD is used as a measure of degree of water pollution and waste. As I said, when the water contains more BOD, then obviously the water is more polluted. Lesser BOD, lesser pollution. So when the amount of waste, is more, then the BOD value is also more. As I said, when the amount of waste is more in the water body, then obviously that means the organic matter is more, so BOD value is also more. Thus, BOD values indicate the degree of water pollution. As I said, more BOD, more pollution. less BOD, less pollution, less pollution. So BOD is used as a pollution indicator. It is used as a pollution. It is used as a pollution indicator. Then changes that takes place in discharge of sewage water into the river. See, imagine here you can see how the sewage water is let off into the river body. I think all of us know nowadays the rivers are getting depleted, getting polluted. It is because of the effluents that are let off into the water bodies, maybe the industrial effluents, or it might be even the sewage water. So microorganisms involved in biodegradation of organic matter in the receiving water body consume a lot of oxygen. Hence, there is sharp decline in dissolved oxygen downstream from the point of discharge. So because of the letting of the sewage or even the industrial effluents. What are industrial effluents? The waste. The industrial waste that are let off. So that are let off into the water body. So the microorganisms that are involved in the biodegradation of such organic matter will consume more oxygen. So obviously the water will be depleted with oxygen, and it is going to affect particularly the fishes, the aquatic animals, from oxygen. So that is a very important change that is going to happen when sewage or even the industrial effluents are let off into the water body. And due to high BOD, there is mortality of fish, as I said. So when the organic matter is more and oxygen is less, so what will happen? BOD increases, and obviously the water is more polluted, and it is going to cause the death of fishes and other aquatic animals. Next, presence of large amount of nutrients in water also causes excessive growth of planktonic algae called algal bloom. I think you might have come across in many water bodies, the whole water body is covered by algal bloom. We cannot even see the water in the water body. So it is called algal bloom. So what is the cause for algal bloom? Presence of large amount of nutrients in water causes excessive growth of planktonic free floating algae called algal bloom. So what are the changes that are going to take place with the discharge of sewage or industrial effluents into the water body like river? Microorganisms involved in biodegradation of organic matter in the receiving water body consume a lot of oxygen. Hence, there is sharp decline, reduction in dissolved oxygen downstream from the point of discharge. As you know, all the aquatic animals come to the surface of the water to take in dissolved oxygen. So all that will be deprived if the sewage or the industrial waste is let off into the water body like rivers. So what will so when sewage and industrial effluents are let off into the water body, it is going to increase BOD. High BOD, then it is going to cause more. So it is going to deplete the water from oxygen, causing the mortality of fishes and other aquatic animals. And it is also going to cause algal bloom. So what is algal bloom? Presence of large amount of nutrients in water also causes excessive growth of planktonic algae called algal bloom. Hope you have understood the concepts what I have explained in today's session. This chapter, as I keep telling, that some of the chapters that are introduced into your second PUC is not all alone to pass your PUC. The knowledge, like we are part and parcel of this environment. We are the citizens of our country, so we need to protect our environment. It is our bound duty to participate in the process of conserving and preserving this beautiful planet Earth and reduce the pollution. So each and every one has a responsibility on our shoulders in protecting our environment and also by reducing the pollution. So in my coming session, I'm going to deal with the sewage associated with the diseases, then the natural eutrophication in the coming session. So I'll be back with some more interesting concepts of this chapter. Till then, goodbye and thank you.